So the fixture list has been released for Algeria's FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Now we know who the opponents are. Obviously we spoke about it a few weeks ago. The draw happened. Algeria got a fairly favourable draw, although with the whole CAF situation, I guess anything can happen. And we've got to remember, this is 3 years away. The level of some of these teams might increase and also decrease as well. And we also don't know where Algeria will be at. But we know the FIFA World Cup qualifying opponents. We know there's going to be 5 opponents, which means 10 matches over the next couple of years. Those 10 games will take place. So interestingly, the fixture list has been released. Now, I told you before, the first set of fixtures will be taking place this November, actually before the Africa Cup of Nations. So essentially, the first 2 World Cup qualifiers may well be, unless we do the friendlies in January, the final warm-up games, competitive games at least, before we go to that Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. And I've got to say, you can see it on the screen now, the opponents are not ideal. Going into an AFCON that we want to win, we're going to be hosting Somalia in game 1. Now, with all due respect to Somalia, it's great to see them involved in the main qualifying round. Last time out, they actually beat Zimbabwe, didn't they? And nearly knocked out Zimbabwe in the preliminary playoff. But with due respect, you don't want to be hosting Somalia as preparation for facing top-level opposition for winning our competition. This is going to be like when we played Djibouti. We beat them 8-0. That could genuinely be a 10-0. And if we win that 10-0, I don't know, because last qualifying campaigns for Qatar, Algeria were the top scorers from African qualifying. We scored more goals in the qualifying than any other African nation and didn't make it. So, when even the playoff was away goals, we scored the same number of goals as Cameroon. So Algeria versus Somalia is game 1 this year. I expect that to be a win. And then Mozambique away. You expect Algeria to win that. Didn't Majid Bouguera beat Mozambique in the Chan at the start of this year? I mean, we don't know where that game will be played. If Mozambique got a ground, or it'll be somewhere else. I guess it's an alright team. They've got Reinildo, haven't they? They've got quite a good defence. The Atletico defender, Mexer. Be interesting to see if they get any Portuguese-based players as well. They've got quite a few of those already. So I'm expecting 6 points. I think we'll absolutely thrash Somalia, and we should win at Mozambique, but that won't be easy. And then the crunch game is at the end of the current season, June 2024, Algeria versus Guinea. That's what it comes down to. Say it's in Annaba or Baraki or wherever, got to win that. If Guinea gets something in our ground in game 3, and let's say Guinea win their first 2 as well. So it could be Algeria, Guinea, game 3. And both teams have got 6 points already. That's where you have to win the game. Because you draw it, you're on 7 points each. And you've got to go to Guinea still. So ideally you want to beat Guinea. But if we do, after that, it's another tough game. Uganda away. Now I know we just beat Uganda away with effectively the B team. But it wasn't a walk in the park, was it? We had to work hard. And it was a low margin. So I think that June 24 section of fixtures at the end of this season is crucial. And if we come through that, 12 points out of 12, I think we're basically halfway there, living on a prayer. Because you come out of that, you've played Mozambique away, you've played Uganda away, and you've played the toughest team in your stadium. If you've got 4 wins out of 4, it's very much in the driving seat. Because then you look at March 25, you go to Botswana, I'm sure we'll win that. And you host Mozambique, pretty straightforward. And then you host Botswana in your own ground. And then you go to Guinea, where a win would effectively take you to the World Cup. Or you draw it and you can just get some wins in the last couple of games. Because Guinea away doesn't necessarily have to be a must-win. That's assuming Guinea, by match day 8, have won every fixture. So no problems with even a loss there by that point, by match day 8. And of course, Guinea's home games have been in Morocco, haven't they? So I don't know what's going on there with the whole military coup situation. And then October 25, we hope by that point, Algeria have already qualified for the competition. We'll go to Somalia. Somalia away in October 2025. Hopefully the players make it back safely. And then we get a nice little party carnival atmosphere for Algeria, Uganda, which ironically was the first AFCON qualifier, wasn't it, of the current AFCON qualifiers. It was Uganda at home first, when Zegba saved the pen that helped us go on to win the game. Hopefully it'll be a party kind of an atmosphere where Algeria play Uganda in game 10, where we've already qualified. It's stress-free. It's just a big party looking forward to summer 26. That's what you want. Of course, there might be more fixtures on top of this. If Algeria comes second in this group, they may well have to play that playoff again. So there might be more to this, but hopefully, inshallah, we come through unscathed. So for me, this year, I'm a bit concerned that we have to play Somalia and Mozambique to prepare for the AFCON. And then June 24 is the big one. You'll come off the back of the AFCON at the end of February, mid of February, and then you go into June, you're hosting Guinea, you're going to Uganda. You need to stay strong there. If you lose, if we get 1 point in match day 3 and 4, I think we're in the absolute gutter. We've got to come out of June 24 with at least 4 points. 12 out of 12 ideally I think takes us. So June 24 is the key international break. The first 2 fixtures should be relatively straightforward, but the problem with playing Somalia is they're relatively unknown. You don't know what to expect. They could spring a surprise, like when they beat Zimbabwe in the last World Cup qualifiers. Of course, Somalia have never been to an Africa Cup of Nations either. But with respect to them, you know, Muslim brothers, should be a good atmosphere. And yeah, so Algeria are going to host Somalia in November and then go to Mozambique. And we'll see what happens with those games. Of course, there'll be 2 games in October as well. Potentially the Egypt friendly and maybe another game. We'll see. Been talk of a mini 14 tournament. I don't really get the point of that. I'd rather win the main proper competitive tournament in January. And but the big thing about the October 23 break is that that's when the AFCON group stage draw will be. So how many points out of 30 do you expect Algeria to get? I'm going to go for 26. I think we'll win 8 and draw 2. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. Out of 30, maybe maximum points if you're confident. Who knows? It might be a Mahrez-less team the way he's going, moving to Saudi Arabia. Or he could still be smashing it as El Capitano. But yeah, like I said, what do you think of these fixtures? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.